A welcome change in the war with streaming services. Starz announcing it's lowering its annual subscription rate at a time when many other streaming services have been upping their rates over the past year. Starz emailed its subscribers that their next bill will see the price drop from nearly $75 a month to just under $70 for an annual subscription. Now, it's about $5, but that's still a drastic difference from what we've seen from other companies. Think Hulu, Disney Plus, Peacock, Netflix, YouTube TV, all of them have had price increases within the past year. So, is this price drop strategy by Starz a winning formula? Joining us now is marketing and consumer expert Ian Baer. Ian, thank you so much for your time. Why, when we're seeing all of these other services increase their prices, why would Starz lower it at this time? I mean, it just seems like logically, just raise it like everybody else.
Well, I think everyone is playing with various elements of the value equation right now when it comes to these streaming networks. For a long time, we watched the unbundling of TV, and we saw everything move towards these streaming platforms that were producing tremendous quantities of very high quality TV. It's a period that we've referred to as peak TV. But, a lot of dynamics have shifted. A number of the platforms have been, for a while, reporting either downward trends in subscriber counts or revenue. And everyone now is working with different balances and different combinations in terms of the monthly or annual charge, whether or not they're offering advertising as part of the system, as well as simply how many options of networks, network brands, and titles they're making available. Starz does not quite have the breadth of content that a Netflix or a Hulu has, so they're going to compete on price, and it's an interesting call.
Right, Ian, as you said, they don't have the breadth of content. They certainly don't have the breadth of subscribers. If we can take a look at that graphic again, I mean, Netflix, far and above all of the other streamers with the number of subscribers. I don't know if we can bring that one up. So do you think that these other streamers are going to follow suit, or is this just more of a case of demand? I mean, people, I think the top of that, Netflix was the highest one. I believe Disney, here we go, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of subscribers. So if the people are demanding the product, they really don't need to lower prices, right?
Well, and it's not apples to apples, as we were discussing. I mean, of the ones that you're showing on screen, or were just showing on screen, Max was the closest in its former iteration as HBO, but even Max now is a compendium of 7 or 8 different streaming services, all combined under one umbrella. Now, we recently saw the news that CNN, which they've had a hard time monetizing, they're now going to bundle it in as a live streaming service within Max. So everyone, again, is messing with that value equation, but it's not really apples to apples when we look at Starz. Starz is more comparable to one of those networks within those platforms, to the role, let's say, that a Showtime offers within Paramount Plus.
And as you say, it's not apples to apples, so we can't necessarily make direct comparisons. But my last question for you, Ian, so many people at this point, have cut the cord. They are either getting rid of cable, or they have, not had cable for years at this point. Do you think there's a scenario where people start doing the same thing when it comes to streaming in some ways, just because the prices are just increasing and increasing and increasing?
We're seeing an industry that is at the end of maturity for its current cycle. And now we're starting to see some mergers and coming together of various networks and platforms. I mentioned earlier, Showtime getting folded under Paramount, multiple networks getting folded under Max, a bunch of things folded under Hulu over the last year. And now I think it's going to be survival of the fittest. I think we're going to see some continued consolidation. But the wild card in this is there's been a lot of noise, for example, that Disney may look to sell off Hulu, or that Netflix could even be an acquisition target for a large entity like an Apple or an Amazon. So, it's a matter of marrying who can monetize the content to the ones who actually create and distribute it. And I think we're going to see some interesting marriages going forward.
I think we certainly will. Ian Baer, thank you for breaking that all down for us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.